understand. What the fuck is happening, bro? There you go. Alright, well, fuck Twitch, I guess.
Mr. Beast, the brilliant mastermind behind some of the most popular videos ever created. Do you think you'll ever make a video that gets 1 billion views?
I think maybe one of the videos we've already made might get 1 billion views.
Which one do you think?
Probably like the Squid Game video with enough time. I mean, it's only a year old and it's already on 300 million. Or some of the newer ones we've done have gotten like 100 million views in a month. So those 4 projected over 10 years because YouTube's not going anywhere. Probably one of those.
So over time, they don't necessarily plateau.
What's interesting, we were literally jumping right
Yeah,
into it.
let's go.
I love it. It's good. So I'm a firm believer that it's much easier to hypothetically get 10 million views on one video than 100,000 on 100. And part of why it's much easier, in my opinion, is like if you make a really good video, it's just so evergreen and it never dies. Because YouTube, when you open up YouTube and look at the videos, they're just serving you whatever they think you'll like the best, you know? And so if you just make a great video and it's constantly just above every other video, you know, even 2 years down the road, then they'll just keep serving it and never stop, you know, which is why it's much easier to make one great video than a bunch of mediocre ones.
What about 1 billion subscribers? You've passed PewDiePie as the most subscribed to YouTube channel. When do you think you get 1 billion?
Let me do some math real quick. So we're on 120.
So you think about this?
No, I don't, honestly. Because one thing you'll find if you want to gain subscribers, if you want to get views, if you want to make money, almost any metric in this video creation space, if you want something, it all comes back to, okay, well then just make great videos. So instead of like focusing on all these arbitrary vanity metrics, I just kind of focus on the one thing that gets me all that, which is make good videos. And that I do think we will one day hit 1 billion subscribers. Like, I don't have a plan on going anywhere, even though we're only on 120 million right now on the main channel. I think like we're doing around 10 million a month now, and YouTube just, I just don't see it going anywhere, and I don't see any reason why I'd ever get burnt out or quit. So I think with enough time, yes.
I wanted to ask you those family-friendly questions before I go to the dark questions. So now
we have dark questions. Wait, no, but if you wanted to hook them, you would start off with the dark questions. That's how you get them.
Okay, well, let me ask you about a Twitter poll you posted, a $10,000 death poll. You tweeted, if someone offered you $10,000, but if you take it, a random person on Earth dies, would you take the $10,000? And 45% of people said yes. That's, at least at the time I checked, 850,000 people committing murder for just $8.5 billion in total. So what do you learn about human nature from that?
That's a good question. Honestly, this was like late at night when I threw that up too. I was just like, this will be a funny thing. I assumed it'd be 90% no and like 10% yes. But there are a lot of serious people. For you guys listening, I just did this random Twitter poll where I was like, would you take 10 grand if it meant someone random in the world died?
Yeah.
And a lot of the replies on the tweet were like, hell yeah, why not? And I was just not expecting that. And so I don't really know. I mean, I feel like your take would be better than mine.
Was it disturbing to you, surprising to you?
A little bit, yeah. But obviously a lot of the people were trolling, but I actually, when you read through those replies, I do think like 10% of them were like dead serious.
Well, I think sometimes the trolling and the lulls reveal a thing we're too embarrassed to admit about the darker aspects of our nature. So I don't know if you listen to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast. He has a episode on painfotainment, which he describes throughout his.
I don't want to like think about having to look for shit.
So then you can just get everything right here. There's all your stuff right here. I don't know why you're digging in the ground if you're not.
Well, I wanted to build a thing underground.
Okay. Do your thing.
All right.
Your Twitch stream isn't on.
I know. I don't know what the fuck's up with it, bro. So it's just YouTube today, bro.
Alright.
I think I have to like clear my cookies and shit, so I don't want to do it. I hope the mic picked him up saying that. I hate seeing you struggle. Wait, I don't know what button you hit to fucking find everything. Garrett, fucking. What button did you hit for that, dude? E to open inventory.
History, how humans have been really attracted to watching the suffering of others. So he has a reveal.
None of them were like dead serious that. And so I don't really know. I mean, why not? If it meant someone was
about just $8.5 billion in total. So what do you learn about human nature from that?
That's a good question. Honestly, this is like late at night when I threw that up too. I was just like, this will be a funny thing. I assumed it'd be 90% no and like 10% yes. But there are a lot of serious people. For you guys listening, I just did this random Twitter poll where I was like, would you take 10 grand if it meant someone random in the world died?
Yeah.
And a lot of the replies on the tweet were like, hell yeah, why not? And I was just not expecting that. And so I don't really know. I mean, I feel like your take would be better than mine.
Was it disturbing to you, surprising to you?
A little bit, yeah. But obviously a lot of people were trolling, but I actually, when you read through those replies, I do think like 10% of them were like dead serious.
Well, I think sometimes the trolling and the lulls reveal a thing we're too embarrassed to admit about the darker aspects of our nature. So I don't know if you listen to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast. He has a episode on painfotainment, which he describes throughout history how humans have been really attracted to watching the suffering of others. So public executions, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he believes that's in all of us. That, for example, if something like a YouTube or a different platform streamed a public execution or streamed the torture of another human being, a lot of people would say that's deeply unethical, but they would still tune in and watch. Yeah. And that we're attracted to that drama, and especially the most extreme versions of that drama. And so I think part of the lulls reveals something that's actually true in that poll. That, like,
your answer is so much better than mine.
Do you think about that? Maybe even with the Squid Game, like, so I think how many views does the Squid Game currently have? 300 million?
Yeah,
something like this. So just imagine, thought experiment, how many views that video would get if it was like real.
Yeah, assuming YouTube was like, we'll turn a blind eye, we won't take it down. Yeah, I mean, obviously it'd probably have billions of views.
How do you think you'll die? And do you think it'll be during a video?
Probably doing something dumb like going to space when I'm older, like trying to go to Mars or something like that. I know for a fact it won't be on a video. Every video we do with safety experts and stuff like that, so it's not really risk. But yeah, I could see myself like, after 1 million people go to Mars or something like that, I'd probably like, you know what, let's go and something like that maybe.
So not in the name of a video, just
no,
for the hell of it.
Heck no.
Are you open to taking risks when you shoot videos? You just went to Antarctica. I mean, like, you're putting yourself on the line a little bit, right?
Of course, but we've had that video in the works for 3 years, and then we consult with tons of experts, radar the entire path we're going to walk beforehand to see if there's crevasses. So we know there's no crevasses. We do training. We consult with experts, and we have survival guides there with us, and monitor the weather and everything. So it's like any variable where we could get harmed, we just pre-plan for it. Same thing with buried alive. Like I had David Blaine spent a week underground. And so I consulted with him and consulted with basically anyone who ever buried themselves alive. The coffin we used to bury me, we did so many tests. Like that coffin was buried 10 times before I was, for way longer than 50 hours. It tested the airflow and everything to the point where I was safer in that coffin underground than I was above ground. Like, so we just tend to just not leave anything up to chance,
Another strange question then. So you recorded these videos to yourself, 5 years, 10 years from now, have you recorded a video that's to be released once you die?
Well, first off, I am just glad that not every one of your questions have to do with like views or things like that. It's nice getting different questions. So this is good.
Bro, Mr. Beast is like.
No, seriously.
It's a little dark.
No, but it's fine because a lot of people just be like, "How much money do you make?" It's just something everything's always about money now for when people talk to me. So it's nice. But for the videos I made for you guys who probably don't follow me too closely, when I had 8,000 subscribers and I was a teenager, I filmed a bunch of videos and scheduled them years in the future. And I said I'd filmed one where I was like, "Hi me in a year," and the video went up a year later, and it was just like, "Hey, I think you'll have 100,000 subscribers." And then I did one where I was like, "Hi me in 5 years." I was like, "Hey, in 5 years, I think you'll have 1 million." And then one that hasn't come out yet, but comes out in 2 years, was "Hi me in 10 years." And I tried to predict 10 years later how many subs I'd have. That's what he's referring to. And yes, there are some that are scheduled like 20 years in the future. And so if I don't die, I'll just move them up. And I remember, because I filmed these though like 7 years ago, but I remember saying a line like, if I'm dead, then I'm currently just in a coffin and like whatever, blah blah blah. And because the only way the video go up is if I'm not alive, and if I'm not alive, then I won't be able to push back the schedule upload date, so it will go public automatically.
Yes.
And so I have a couple of those. Like if I knew I was gonna die of like cancer or something and I had like 3 months to live, I would vlog every day. I'd film so many videos, and then I would just schedule upload a video a week for like the next 5 years, so it's like I'm still alive, and I would completely act like I'm still alive and everything. And I think something like that would be cool. I don't know why, but I've fantasized, not fantasized, but I've dreamt about that a lot. Like, I don't know, if I only had 30 days to live, what would I do? And for me, I would try to make like a decade's worth of content and schedule upload it so they automatically go public in the future. And so it's just like I never died. I'm just there.
Yeah, it's a kind of immortality, but it's also a kind of troll on the concept of time.
Yeah.
That you can die in the physical space but persist in the digital space. I recorded a video like that because I had some concerns, and I just thought it's also a good exercise to do. A video would like to be released if I die. And it was actually a really interesting exercise. Yeah. It's cool. Like it shows like what you really care about. I guess it's like writing a will. But when you're younger, you don't think about that kind of stuff. But
exactly. Mine was just dumb.
Yeah.
Like I'm bones in a coffin.
Yeah.
Yours is probably so serious.
No, it's fun actually. What you realize is like there's no point to be serious at this point. It's a weird thing. I guess you've done this, but it's a weird thing to address the world when you, the physical you, is no longer there. So like this would only be released if you're no longer there.
Exactly.
That's a weird exercise.
You know what's funny? Of all the people listening to this,
yeah,
we're probably the only 2 people that have made videos for when we die. It's like such a niche thing, and the fact that we're bonding over it's kind of funny.
I think people should think about doing that. It's not just about YouTube; it's also social media. Because think about it. Like there's going to be a last tweet and a last, I don't know, Facebook post, a last Instagram post. And I feel like there's some aspect that's meditative to just even considering making a post like that. And also it's a way for the people that love you to kind of like celebrate.
Do you think that would help them cope or not? Like if someone randomly watching this did film a video, for if they accidentally died in some freak accident to be given to their family, do you think that would... And it was like a genuine...
I think it would really help. I mean, it depends because like
how would you even intro that? Like, "Hey mom, if you're seeing this, it means I'm probably dead."
Yeah, exactly. That's how you intro it. That's the opener.
I just want you to know. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess you could say it in a kind of funny way, but and just talk about the things that mean a lot to you, because otherwise you're at the risk of the last post you have is like I don't know, talking shit about like
McDonald's
my
order.
Exactly.
And then you're dead. That's it. 100 years.
I don't know. I do recommend it. It's like the Stoics meditate on death every day. In the same way you kind of meditate on your death when you make a video like that, because it's actually not just even talking to yourself, it's talking to the world. And it, like, for some reason, at least for me, they made it very concrete that there's going to be an end. And I'm like, it's over for me. If I'm making the video, it's over for me. It's an interesting thought experiment. I recommend people try it. Okay. Are you afraid of death, by the way?
Yes. It's hard because, like, what if you just die and then you just see nothing forever,
Yeah, the nothingness.
It just fades to blackness, and you're just like that for trillions upon trillions to billions squared years. And it's scary. But also, before you're born, you don't remember those X amount of years either. So that gives me a little comfort. But no, it's definitely very scary. Something I'd rather not think about until I'm like 80. I'll deal with that problem then. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm kind of hopeful that someone like Elon or one of these like freak smart people will just like be like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna figure out a way where we can slow down aging, get it where we can live to be 200-300 years old, and just like set.
Dude, I wonder if they're gonna talk about politics. I bet I can spoil it actually. Why wouldn't it list me the fucking chapters? Whatever. What time are we at? 11 minutes in. Mortality, improving YouTube, Twitter, brand deals, audience retention, hiring, talking to the camera, brainstorming, TikTok, advice for beginners, how to grow on YouTube, Elon Musk and Twitter, $10 million, 10 million subscribers, going to Antarctica, process making video, overcoming depression, building a business, Mr. Beast Burger, creating video games, making billions of dollars, money, happiness, mental health, love. It's been in one scope. What do you think of the president?
Set their sights on that, and then just kind of save us. So it'd be like, really nice. Like it's almost absurd to think that in our lifetime they won't figure out a way to just even slightly slow down aging, where we could live to be like 120 or 130, and then that extra time they won't figure out some way where we could live to be 200. Like obviously not immortal, but I don't see how in my lifetime the life expectancy doesn't just expand.
Well, it also could be that the immortality is achieved in the digital realm. Like it could be long after you're gone. There's a Mr. Beast run by a ChatGPT type system.
Exactly. Yeah, that consumes everything I ever said, everything I ever wrote, and I don't want that. I want to live. One of you smart people out there, figure it out. I'll keep you entertained, but I need you to figure out how to keep me alive. Give me till 200. That will make me happy.
Well, that's funny. Who owns the identity of Mr. Beast once the physical body is gone?
How far out is it?
Like, is it illegal to create another Mr. Beast that's ChatGPT based? I don't know what the laws are on that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, once I'm dead, I don't care.
Well,
but
well, you just said you did care. I mean, there could be a AI like mini Mr. Beasts that are created after you're gone.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool to be able to like train up a model and let them loose so my content lives on. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it somehow feels like it diminishes the value you contribute.
Yeah.
It's inauthentic, but it's also there's some aspect to the finiteness of the art being necessary for its greatness.
100%. Yeah, the second that thing starts spamming out videos, the videos lose all meaning and it's pointless and it's a money grab.
If you ran YouTube for how long should you run it? For a year, how would you change it? How would you improve it?
It's hard because obviously I'm biased because we're doing really well, but I feel like when I open up YouTube on my television, I get the videos I want to watch. I don't know. I don't ever open it and wonder like, what are these? What are these 10 videos on my homepage? When I click on a video on my suggestion, I don't ever wonder what these are. Like and maybe it's because I'm very adamant about like the kind of videos I watch, and I try not to watch videos that I don't want to get recommended more because that's how I think. But I'm very happy with how it is at the moment. I think one thing though that I just hate with the passion is the comment section on YouTube. It's just so bad. But I know that's not something that's gonna 10x the growth of the platform. But if you think about it, you go to Reddit to read comments, and somehow like usually the top 20 posts on a popular Reddit post are not spam. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever clicked on something on the front page of Reddit and then most upvoted reply to it is like, go check out my site right here, and it's like trying to scam you out of $1,000? Yeah, I can't even think of one instance I've ever had that happen. So like Reddit, it's so nice to click on posts and just see what people have to say, and I almost wish like you had that same feeling when you read the comments on a YouTube video. Instead, it's like it's so many people just copy and pasting, so many bots that just grab the top comment for your previous video and paste it over. So the top comments on every video are the same. And the things that break through that are just scammers trying to get you to give them $1,000 for a free, fake ad.
That comment section is one of the most lively on the internet. So it'd be amazing if YouTube invested in creating an actual community, like where people could do high effort comments and be rewarded for it, like on Reddit.
Yeah.
Like actually write out a long thing.
That would make me so happy. Because like when I upload a video, I usually go to Twitter to see feedback. Like I read my comments and I'll flip through newest, but it's just, I feel like Reddit and Twitter just give me so much better filtered feedback, especially now that with Twitter Blue, because people pay $8 a month. I've noticed like any tweets I get from verified users now, they're usually not just garbage troll takes. Like these are people paying $8 a month. Like they're usually relatively sensible. And so it's been pretty nice. Like after I upload a video, I just go on the verified tab on Twitter and just see what people have to say. And anyways, I live for the day that YouTube's like that.
What do you think about Twitter? What do you think about all the fun activity happening recently since Elon bought Twitter?
I think he should make me CEO, like I tweeted.
Hey, fucking.
Well, I should say sort of we just like a couple hours ago had a conversation with Elon, and you guys had an exchange of some excellent ideas. So yeah, I legitimately think, obviously you're exceptionally busy, but I legitimately think it would be awesome if you somehow participate in the future of Twitter.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Because there's so much possibility of different ideas. First in the sort of the content, like dissemination, hosting, and all the different recommendations, like the search and discovery, all the things that YouTube does well.
I think the most exciting thing is he's, willing to move fast. And so I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things that come out of it because he's just moving quick. And a lot of these more mature platforms just take years to do the simplest stuff, and they're very bureaucratic. And so it's it'll be interesting to see which way it goes when you just kind of take a move quick, break things, whatever type approach to social media. I'm actually pretty curious to see what features he rolls out.
So what would be your first act as Twitter CEO?
Dude,
I can't spoil it.
Okay.
I gotta get hired.
What do you think about video on the platform?
Twitter?
Do you think that's an interesting, or is it like messing with the medium, the nature of the platform?
I think Twitter will always be closer to TikTok than it is to YouTube. Like at least in its current form. Like I don't see 20-minute, 1 hour long videos or whatever, even 15-minute videos being watched over there. I see it more as like the short and snappy stuff closer to TikTok.
But at the same time, Twitter is a really good comment section for the internet.
I mean, it's almost weird why doesn't Twitter allow you to embed YouTube videos? Like why does that? You should just ask Elon that. Like, I don't know if that's a YouTube thing, but when a YouTuber posts a video, why do they have to link to YouTube? Why can't they just embed it on Twitter and you just play it there? I mean, wouldn't that just solve a lot of problems?
Yeah, but then the two companies would have to agree to integrate each other's content.
I don't know, but it seems like a win-win. I mean, well, it's more of a win for Twitter because then people don't have to leave the platform. I mean, that'd be the easiest
But
solution.
who gets, like, when you watch the ads on a YouTube video that's embedded in a Twitter, who gets the money?
It would still be YouTube, but at least then right now people just post a link and it takes you off Twitter and it just kills your session time on Twitter.
That's really interesting. But because the Twitter, whatever the dynamics of the comments, especially once the spam bots are taken care of, Twitter just works. It's really so Reddit is a nice comment section for the internet. It's like slower pace, more deliberate, higher effort. Twitter's like this high paced, like ephemeral kind of stream. But there's the upvoting and the downvoting works much better because you can do retweeting, right? Because the social network is much stronger than it is on YouTube. Like the interconnectivity.
Yeah, on Reddit, you're going to get the top replies are going to be the most refined ones, whereas Twitter, stuff floats to the top that's not super refined. But like you're saying, it's more off the cuff stream of consciousness, which a lot of people prefer because it's a little more personal.
How do you think Twitter compares to YouTube in terms of how you see its future unroll in 2023?
I mean, I think YouTube's going to be YouTube and not much is really going to change, but it's going to keep growing just because that's just what it does, and because it's owned by Google. But Twitter, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like you can't predict if a year from now an economy is going to be in a recession or booming. And I think Twitter's kind of the same thing. One thing's for certain, a lot of things are going to be rolled out, but who knows, honestly.
You responded to Elon saying Twitter's unlikely to be able to pay creators more money than YouTube. Why do you think that is?
Well, yeah, because I think the tweet I responded to was one where he was saying that they, users will jump over if Twitter could potentially pay more than other platforms. And I was just saying, obviously, because Google has Google AdWords, and I mean that's Google's whole thing. It's putting ads on stuff. They've been doing it better than anyone else in the world for a very long time. It's very unlikely in the next few years that Twitter is going to just magically, or any platform, give a creator the ability to make higher CPMs than on YouTube. It's kind of crazy. Like some creators in December, Q4, because ad rates are higher because of Christmas and everything, some creators literally make like $30-$40 per 1,000 views, and that's after YouTube's cut. Like it's almost like hard to think about like how high the RPMs get. And even then, once you pull out of finance and cars, the high CPM niches, and you move into just normal stuff, it's still crazy. The sheer volume of creators and the fact that all of them get these multi-dollar CPMs at scale, it's pretty beautiful.
So you do I don't know what you would call them, but like
Also, the
integrated
stuff just
ads
moves
in your
crazy
videos, and you
fast,
do
bro.
it.
It's
I would say
in
masterfully.
days.
It's like part of the
Are you
video.
talking about brand deals?
Brand deals, is that
Yeah.
what you would call that?
Yep.
So it's a brand deal. It's part of the video. It's still really exciting to watch, and yet there's a plug for the brand.
In general, just brand deals, since you brought it up, integrating them well. I think that's something a lot of creators don't do. Like, they'll just do a brand deal out of the blue. They'll just be filming a video, and then around the 3-minute mark, just start talking about a random company.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't want viewers to click away and you want people to not get pissed off and call you a sellout, you got to find a way to integrate it into content. And ideally, use the money in the video to make it better. Like, as the easiest thing you can do when you do a brand deal is just tell people how you're using money from the brand deal to make your content better. And if you do that, like, no one cares. Now they're supporting you for it. And you go from being a sellout to like, oh, I'm doing this to make better videos for you guys, you know?
I don't know if you can share, but with those brands, when you have discussions with them, are they strict about how long you need to be talking about it? Or is it more about they're leaving control to you about the artistic element of it?
The problem is the ones who don't give us the artistic element, we just don't really work with anymore.
Sure.
Because it's just, we get 100 million views a video now, and I can confidently say I know how to entertain them and convert them better than these random brands. So, if they don't give us that freedom, I just won't work with them.
So you have that leverage, but for smaller creators,
It's a lot harder. Yeah, and they're gonna just say 45 seconds. Here's what you say. Take it or leave it, and it's like pretty brutal. Because I think just in general, if brands were more accommodating to let creators tell their story of the brand and talk about the brand in a way that felt a little more natural, I think it'd be less cringe. People would be less likely to go and tap skip, and obviously it would convert better. But they're just so afraid, and they want this standardized thing. Say these words and 45 seconds right here at this 3-minute mark.
Yeah, I often think about how to resist that.
You just don't do them though, right?
Not on YouTube, right? I do, on the audio, I do ads in the very beginning, and I say you can skip them if you want.
I'm
But
sure the brand loves that.
no, I don't like. The point is they.
Keep doing
So
it.
the funny thing about podcasts is different than YouTube videos. Podcast people actually do listen to ads a lot because it's slower paced and they like the creator voice, like talking about the thing. But in general, I just don't believe you should be talking about a thing for a minute exactly, and that's going to be effective. I want to see the data for that. I think what's much more effective is the way you do ads, which is like integrate into the content, like put a lot of effort into making a part of that, like doing the brand deals. And it's difficult to have that conversation. It's like a very strenuous conversation you have to have with brands. You have to have each one at a time. And I just wish there was more of a culture to say like the quality of the ad read matters a lot more than the like the silly parameters, like the timing of it, like how long it is, the placement of it, all that kind of stuff.
What percentage of your viewers do you think have seen one of my videos before?
What percentage of the viewers on YouTube, right?
Yeah, of your viewers.
Of the viewers on YouTube, though. 'Cause
Yeah,
most of people.
Okay, sure, or all of them. It's just
Overall.
interesting because you're speaking very specifically like about my brand deal process, and so in my head I'm like, I wonder what percentage of these people even have any idea what he's talking about.
That's interesting. I love the thinking about numbers.
The whole time we were having this conversation, that's all I could think about. It's like, God damn it, there's probably like 50% of these people have no fucking clue what he's saying,
Probably.
and we're about to torture him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably
But that's something I can't turn off in my brain.
less than 50%. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that exciting to you that there's like 50% of people have not watched a Mr. Beast video? Isn't that an opportunity to like?
Yeah, I guess it's an opportunity to grow. I don't know. Honestly, I was just kind of excited to hang out with you.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I mean, it's an
today was a lot of fun.
Who cares if there's
So,
mics?
Yeah, so it's kind of like having a buddy to go along the journey as I'm just kind of eating shit and doing my normal grind. It was like kind of fun, and also you just say really wise stuff constantly. So honestly, no, I never even put any thought into like the demographics or what I could gain. It's just interesting because like my retention brain, when you talk about something, I'm instantly like, what value are they going to get? How many of them are going to be interested? What percentage of people do I think will lose? And I'm like running all those calculations in the background, and that whole conversation, like anyway, it's just something I can't turn off. My like bells are like error. This is bad.
What are the different strategies for high retention for your videos and in general?
It's like how do you cook good food? You know what I mean? That's like the same kind of question.
I see. So there's so many different ways that you. So it boils down to, I mean, do you think at the level of a story, or do you think like literally watching 5 seconds at a time Am I going to tune out here? Am I going to tune out here? Am I going to tune out here?
It's all of it. You need the overarching narrative, and then you also need the micro where every second, needs to be entertaining. And you basically, what's interesting is the longer people watch something, the more likely they are to keep watching. So you don't have to try as hard in the hypothetically back half of a video as you do in the front. Like even right now, we're so deep into this where a lot of people listening are probably just going to keep listening relatively close to the end, unless we just have a really boring part of this conversation because they're just in it. They're immersed. And so a big, like, to really boil it down to a simple level, you just want to get people where they're immersed in the content and then just kind of hold them there.
We had this discussion offline. And by the way, I should mention that this is like late at night.
It is. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock.
And I only slept 1 hour last night because I'm an idiot. And I flew to the wrong location.
Well, here, we're like, hey, let's just book you a hotel and a flight. He's like, no, I got it. We're like, you sure? We can just do it. We always do this. He's like, no, I got it.
He's going to have to rub it in.
I know. And then today, come to find out, he flew to the wrong airport with the or a city with a similar name to ours. Just
same name.
Yeah.
Same name in a different state.
and I was like, that's why you should have let us book it. And so he's on 1 hour of sleep, and he's literally been dying all day. Before this podcast, he downed like 2 things of coffee. We've been going all day hard.
Yeah, I've been got to interact with you. I should say that this gave me an opportunity to. I got a ride from a stranger, and it was an incredible person. I got to interact with them. So it's like there's so many kind people around here. Just like this kind of southern energy. And then I got to go to a diner because I could, there's only 1 hour between me arriving and having to fly out. So I went to a diner. There's a really kind waitress that called me honey. So that was a beautiful moment,
I was so confused. You tweeted about.
I gotta get it. Be right back.
about that, and like Steele's like Lex, my assistant was like, Lex isn't here yet,
Yeah.
and I saw your tweet, and I was like, he's here.
Yeah.
Steele's like, no, he's still flying. I was like, like an hour ago, he just tweeted about a nice diner.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you flew
it was
to
a
the
diner. It was a diner in a different state.
And then you had to fly over here. So
Yeah.
and then I called you. You didn't answer. I was like, I was like, something's not adding up.
Yeah, I feel like such an idiot because apparently the world has cities like Springfield, right? Like there's like every single state has a Springfield.
Oh, really?
I think so. I
Okay,
think that's
whatever.
that's like a Simpsons joke, right? That like it's the city in the Simpsons is Springfield, and I think every single state or most of them have a Springfield, and the same is true for like Georgetown. I think the most I forget
will
what
not
the most
have to
popular
go
one was. But there's like a list
Springfield,
of things
Florida.
people get when they run out of ideas. They just keep using the same
They're
thing.
your
over and over.
Achilles heel.
Anyway, I got to meet a bunch of people from
Oh, there is.
from your team. There's just incredible human beings. So let me just ask on that topic: how do you hire a great team? Like, what have you learned about hiring for everything for the main channel that you do, for the React the game the gaming channel to Mr. Beast Burger to Feastables, all that.
The big thing is, especially in this content creation, because it's not like anything that's done on Netflix or different content mediums. I really need people who are coachable and like really see the value in what I care about, because it's a very specific way of going about things, and it's a thing. There's no one like plug and play. Like
Why do I
if
do
Netflix
this?
wanted to hire someone to do a documentary, there's probably tens of thousands of people you could hire that have worked on documentaries before. But if you want to hire someone to make super viral YouTube videos, you know, like we do, there's just no one you can really pull from. Like sometimes I'll hire people from game shows, right? And they have all these preconceived notions about pacing and how a video should be, and you have to spend like the first year like breaking all these habits, and you know, and they think they're better than you. Like a lot of people in traditional think they're better, and they think their way is better than what we do. And so for me, it's almost easier to hire people that are just hard workers, that are obsessed and really coachable, and just train them how to like be good at content creation and production, than to hire someone from like traditional, which is the only way to really do it, because there's not that many YouTube channels that have scaled up. So it's not like there's a huge talent pool of people who've worked on YouTube channels. So it's easier just to train someone than just pull them from traditional, because traditional people just, I don't know, they have all these opinions and things, and they just think our way of going about things is dumb.
Yeah, so you want people who have the humility to have a beginner's mind, even if they have experience.
And see the value. Like
Yeah.
actually, you'll still get it. It's so crazy. Like especially some of my other friends that are scaling up their YouTube channels. There's people that will come on and you'll ask them like, "What do you want to be doing in 5 years?" And instead of saying, "Oh, I want to be working on this channel," they'll be like, "Oh, I hope to be working on movies or this or that." And they see like working on a YouTube channel as a launch pad to go into traditional. And it's like, no, like you just don't get it.
This is the future.
This is the end goal.
Yeah.
This is your career. And so I'm just so tired of
Fuck
having
that.
those
Movies
kinds of
are sick,
conversations. Like
though.
I feel like people really should be coming around.
Does Bo
Are
really
there
think
like
movies are dead, bro?
recurring interview questions that you ask? Is there ways to get?
Yeah, but the biggest thing is like, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? And if their answer isn't, you know, making content on YouTube, or, you know, if their answer is anything like movies or traditional stuff like that, it's like just a hell no. Like it just won't even remotely work.
Oh, so you really want people to believe in the vision of YouTube? as a
Yeah, I mean,
platform.
ideally, it's like, oh, working here. You know what I mean?
So it's less about the medium
This
and
is
more
way
about
too
just
big a
being on a
wall.
great team that's doing epic stuff.
Yeah, well, and yeah, the media as well, because those, it's just, it's hard to put it into words, but it's just two completely different ways of going about things. You know, like our videos aren't scripted, and you know, it's a lot more run and gun. And if we hypothetically blow up a giant car or whatever, like you only have one take, you know what I mean? So and it's not scripted, and so you have to overfilm, overshoot things, overcompensate for like the dumb way of going about it. And a lot of traditional people would be like, well, just plan what you're going to say and just plan the angles. You can cut the cameras in half. You can save 50 grand here. You can save, $75,000 in editing, this and that. And it's like, yeah, but that's not authentic. Like that's, blah, blah. You get it. It's almost so obvious that it hurts to have to like constantly have these conversations, but it's the world we live in.
But there's also detail, like there's a taste. Like I've watched a bunch of videos with you, and it's clear to you that you've gotten really good. I don't know what the right word is, style or taste, to be able to know what's good and not in terms of retention, in terms of just stylistically, visually.
I don't have to think. I can just watch a video and it just screams in my head like this is what should change based on the million videos I've watched and all these viral videos I've consumed. Like this is blah blah blah. What's optimal? And things like that. It's almost like your brain's like a, you know, like a neural net. And like if you consume enough viral videos and enough good content, that you just kind of start to like train your brain to like see it and see these patterns that happen in all these viral videos. And so that anytime I watch a video or a movie or anything, I just can't stop thinking about what is optimal. And so it's like, it gives me a headache sometimes when I watch something too slow or I don't think is optimal. Obviously my taste isn't the end all be all. But that's something that kind of torments me, if that makes any sense.
Oh, you can't enjoy a slow moving
I
like
can't.
movie.
And that's not to say
The
there
retention on The Godfather is horrible.
yeah, no, exactly. I've tried to watch that movie like 3 times, and that's not to say slow movies are bad. Like there's an audience for it. It's just obviously not what I've trained my brain to like. And in social media and YouTube right now, like that's just not the meta.
And in general, like you said, in neural network, you're training your brain in part on actual data.
Yep.
Right, so you're actually, it's data driven, so you're looking at like in terms of thumbnails and titles and different aspects of like the first 5-10 seconds, and then throughout the video, the retention, all of that, you're looking at all of that for your own videos to understand how to do it better. So that's where the neural network is training.
Yeah, basically there are ways you can kind of see like the most viewed videos on YouTube every day and stuff like that, and I just kind of consume those every single day, and I've been doing that for way too many years. And you just start to notice patterns, like the thumbnails on the most viewed videos or videos that go super viral tend to be clear, tend to not have much clutter, tend to be pretty simple. Titles tend to be less than 50 characters. Intros tend to be this. Stories tend to be this. And you just kind of like, after you see those thousands and then tens of thousands of time, it just starts to click in your head. Like, this is what it looks like, you know?
So how are you able to transfer that taste that you've developed to the team? So for like, because you said like broad things, but I'm sure there's a million detailed things. Like what zoom to use on the face to use in the thumbnail, right? Like
the answer is whatever makes the best video. Because the problem is the more, which I have so many friends who are like this. They'll make like checklists for their editors. They'll make, you know, this beat and this beat, and you need to have like a 3-part arc and then this. But the problem is that's how you, the more constraints you put on the team, the more repetitive and less innovation you get, and the more like, you know, after 10 videos, people are gonna be like, all right, I've already seen this. So
I made this
to me, and
low,
I'm 24, and you know, I'm probably, my mindset will change over the next 10 years. I just haven't been in this industry too long, but the only way to like really make innovative content and keep things fresh is to not put constraints on, or put as little as possible. And so that's why I'm very hesitant on all that stuff, because the more I say, the more they're gonna be like, oh, then that's what we do. And then, you know, I'll say one time like, oh, you know, ideally there's a cut every 3 seconds. And then next thing you know, every video there's a cut every 3 seconds or whatever. So it's hard, because I try to give as little not training, but as little facts or as possible, and more just make suggestions, if that makes any sense.
You mean publicly or to your team?
To my team, yeah.
So you talked about sort of teaching your voice or your style, whatever we want to call it, to other people on the team so they can be kind of a Mr. Beast replacement. So what's the process of teaching that? So you don't want to...
No, I got you. So you're more talking about like what I would call almost like cloning, right?
Yeah.
Like Tyler and other people like that. Yeah. So when we were hanging out today, I was showing him how we have multiple people in the it's almost like talking to the camera to have it.
Yeah, you turn slowly to the camera.
I was like, anyways, have it.
Is it weird to you to not be looking at the camera?
This whole interview, I constantly have been turning towards the camera. Like, wait, I'm talking to him.
Yes.
It's a habit. Because my whole life, I've just been talking to a camera.
Who are you thinking about when you're looking at the camera? Do you like imagine somebody?
I'm fully thinking about the person just sitting watching it. And I almost, it's weird. When I'm looking at the camera, I don't see a camera. I'm like in a haze picturing what the viewer is seeing when they watch it, if that makes sense. And that's where I'll be saying things and or doing something. And then like when I'm watching, I'm like, that's not what I want. And then I'll freeze up. It's very weird when I'm filming. And